All right, everybody, and welcome all. Welcome to day 2 of ArvCon 2026. This is a perfect day for this where I am. It is cold, it is somewhat rainy outside, it is unseasonable, which means it is the perfect time to be hanging out with all of us to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. Very, very excited about the opening sequence that we have had so far. The pre-show and day 1 have netted $1,011, which is a really, really good start, seriously. As we lead into our longest day, this is going to be a very long and very exciting day full of content and inspiration and all kind of amazing stuff. I cannot wait for any of it, so I want to thank everyone for being here. Day 2 is going to feature our interview that I'm going to have in just a moment with 3 Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation scientists who you will see again on Monday during our scientist game being GM'd by Brandon O'Brien. Super excited for that. I then will be playing a tabletop one-shot DM'd by one Mr. Zach Clay. I will join KP and Rem and Indy for that one. Super excited there. Then it will be on to D&D with By the Dice Roll, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I will be continuing with that as their DM. Then at 6:30, we've got a concert featuring Kilgore Trout, actually 6:15, a concert featuring Kilgore Trout to begin, and then Indy to close off. Super excited for that. And then we have Community D&D with the Shadow Crew EX, a special homebrew one-shot. Super excited about that too. That special homebrew one-shot is going to have a lot of sorcerers involved, and yeah, who are these Shadow Crew guys? Well, you'll be able to find that out today. I am super excited for all of that. So excited that now I'm going to bring on the camera. What's going on, everyone? I have to wear, look at this. I got to wear a freaking sweater. You kidding me? Now, this sweater will hopefully come off as the day goes on, but I got to wear this because it's cool, man. It's like winter. It's not freaking summer. What is going on? Anyway, but it is a great pleasure to have everyone here. Just a couple of notes. First of all, again, thanks to our sponsors over there, and I do have to add a sponsor to that list. All I see is a floating head. What's up, Dragonsphere? Right over there is a list of our sponsors, and there's an additional sponsor that I'm happy to add. We'll be able to get that updated soon, and that is that Tin Man Games has come back and has joined us again. They have apologized for being a little bit late in their reply. They're super busy. I totally understand that. But they are very excited to sponsor again. They have ponied up many, many game keys to be able to support this. So once again, we have 8 sponsors, all of whom I think all of these folks have sponsored us before. And so I'm really honored to be able to have Tin Man Games to join Alligator Alley, Athos Arts, Catalyst Games, Fatbot Games, Free League, GOG.com, and Nomad Games. Very excited for all of that. Also want to thank all of the amazing mods here. The Catalyst Game Lab's Out of Place. I don't know, man. That's their logo, though. I know what you mean. It's sort of like dark mode and a white mode, but I don't think they have a stream. I'll double check with them, but I think they like their dark mode. What can you say? Some people, it's their goth stage. You know what I'm saying, Echo? But in any case, I want to thank the sponsors. I want to thank all the mods for all the mod coverage they've already done and are going to do coming up today and tomorrow and on Monday. Also, special thanks to Triffid for helping assemble the spreadsheet. Too special thanks to Dragonspear for creating the spreadsheet template. It really makes such a huge difference to be able to have this so we can have all of these giveaways that we've got going on today. So remember, as we hit milestones, giveaways will go to everyone else. Also, remember the top donors here. The third top donor is going to get a prize pack featuring the Super Camelot board game from Catalyst Games, the Vikings board game. The Vikings board game, not easy to pick that up with one hand, it's heavy, right here from Catalyst Games. And also, they will feature a prize pack of those. Also, the Game Narrative Kaleidoscope book, which I happen to have in front of me right here. The Game Narrative Kaleidoscope book, signed by yours truly, a collection of essays from a lot of major gamers across the field. Super exciting for that. Yeah, but you don't have the Game Narrative Kaleidoscope, though. I know you don't have that one. And then the second top donor is going to get some of those things, plus Greyshade, Renegade, Heretic, and Icarus, all signed from yours truly. And the top donor is going to get this Dragonbane core rulebook, brand new from Free League. And we are also going to get from Prince Justin this incredible picture. Actually, this is my copy, but I have another one in a box wrapped up, which is the Cascade Mountain Range, the Olympic Cascade Range. That is a photo taken by Prince Justin. It is the background for the highly successful 13th Icon campaign on there, and is set on a metal stand for your easy placement. And so I'm very, very excited for that. It's great. Could not wait, could not be any more excited for all of this as we've got donors to come. The way to do that, if you want to know more about the Cancer Research Foundation, is !Damon. You'll learn more about that as you go on. The way to donate is to go, if you type in !Donate, you'll see a link. There's also a QR code here on the screen. You can use either of those to go to the donate page. When it happens, you'll get a little fanfare, and you'll see that thing go up. And we want to see that number go up substantially. I would love to see that number. We're really trying to make a big push today because we have 12 hours of content ahead. So please, please, please jump there. Absolutely, Damon Runyon. There are shenanigans going on in here. We already raised over 1,000. So grateful to Megan McCain from Damon Runyon and to all the folks at Damon Runyon for all the things they do. So super excited for that. And now, with no further ado, I'm trying to get through this quickly because I want to make sure we get to our scientists. I am now going to unmute myself and apologize to anyone I interrupted because I couldn't hear them as I warned them that was going to happen. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, let's see if I actually am a real boy and know what I'm doing. That's it. Look at that. It's amazing. You can actually see and hear everybody, and I even unmuted them so they can be heard. Wonderful. I'm glad to have them with me. Chat, I hope you will all... Oh! I can't even speak before I immediately get a donation. Before I even introduce them. Let's see. That comes to you from Lil Bazian. Dr. Leslie Day is doing very cool work with DRCRF. Go, Leslie. Actually, it says the phrase.
Thanks, Kim.
And I have to say, by the way, the scientists have won in our last 2 years the coveted award of most money raised during their collective segments, the interview and this. Now, right now, I have to say the Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks crew raised over $1,000 on their own. So that's a big segment push. But if anyone can do it, it is these people sitting on my right, your left, I guess, as you're looking at the screen. Let me introduce you as we go through. Yes, I know the sound was quiet. I'm going to address that over time. I shall fix that sound so we can blow people away with it. Okay. But I want to, first of all, introduce the three scientists. First of all, Dr. Leslie Day, who you can see at the top of the screen. Leslie, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. You've already had 2 people that have donated, one anonymously, one not on your behalf, so you've got a fan group. I wanted to thank you for being here, and I want to ask you quickly before I introduce the other 2. Can you just give me a quick sort of like summary about why you were attracted to Damon Runyon? Like, what is it about Damon Runyon that you have appreciated as you're speaking somewhat as an evangelist, I suppose, for them? If you could talk just a little bit about your relationship with them.
Yeah, totally. So I think it started with my kind of a huge pivot in my research interests, and then finding Damon Runyon kind of as a way to support those research interests. So I have a background training as an environmental microbiologist, and my techniques are more in expertise of growing hard to grow organisms that can't grow in the presence of oxygen. And so I started my postdoc and was working with some new bacteria. And when I was reading the literature about these bacteria, I was originally thinking about them in the context of the lung, where they're not thought to be as like antagonistic, but there's always these one-handed comments about them being an oral cancer pathogen. And so kind of my curiosity got piqued and I dove into that literature, and there seems to be just like a huge need for more tools to study these bacteria to understand how they could be causing advanced progression of tumors like oral squamous cell carcinomas, but also making it more difficult to have positive treatment outcomes. And so I thought, like, this is a way that I could apply my kind of environmental training in a way that could have a really big impact and be a useful tool set to the community and like understanding these rising prevalent cancers of oral tumors. And so that's kind of how I ended up going from being like a methanogen environmental microbiologist to developing tools for bacteria that could be important for cancer. And then I learned about the Damon Runyon through that. And actually, my advisor was a Damon Runyon fellow way
Oh,
back when.
that's cool.
And so he was familiar with the program and like what a great positive impact it has on him as a postdoc. And so he encouraged me to look into it, and I decided to apply. And it's made it so my lab isn't focused on cancer, but it's made it so I can kind of pivot my interests there and support myself to do this research. So
That's really cool. And I guess just as a quick follow up, it sounds like that's something which Damon Runyon's one of the few, right, organizations that would
mm-hmm,
take a swing at this kind of funding because it's not inside the
totally.
standard. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so I think that was something that was really exciting. And like we mentioned before, kind of the retreats that we all go to as part of our like Damon Runyon training, you can see just like the really big outside perspectives that people can have and how that kind of added creativity and fresh perspective can make a big difference in research outcomes.
That's really
Sometimes ignorance is a powerful thing, I think, because then you're not hindered by, well, people have been doing it this way for 20 years, so we're going to do it this way, you know? And I
yeah.
think that's something that I really love and have super enjoyed about the atmosphere of Damon Runyon.
It's really cool. And yeah, the sense I always get from doing these conversations with scientists over the years is that there is a kind of like, it makes sense that this thing from out here could theoretically apply, but we, as an academic myself, I know, get stuck in silos a lot of times where there isn't
Totally.
communication going on between disciplines or even
Mm-hmm.
related fields. And so you miss out on opportunities that Damon sort of bridges. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me jump down to introduce our second scientist of the day, and that's Dr. Ryu Wang. It's good to see you. Thank you again for being with us. And I guess the same question, I have the same question for you, which is, yeah, maybe just briefly about your research and about Damon Runyon as the connection to that and how you were able to get hooked up with them.
Yeah, thanks everyone for having me here. So my research works on totally computational biology, so a bit like different from like traditional cancer biology research people. We don't know any bench work, so everything was on computer. So it's kind of very different, and I think that's right now everybody appreciate like how artificial intelligence like AI will change how we do research, but I think Damon Ryan was the only, to my knowledge, was the only one that I think several years ago they have this vision to establish this quantitative biology fellow program, which only actually among all these major organizations, they're the only one that have this vision to support work like us that use kind of purely computational work to drive our understanding of how cancer actually works. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, right, the idea of being able to, again, take something that has scientific rigor, but not necessarily, shelved on the same bookshelf as other things that one would expect for cancer research. And so this allows you to do that. I guess, quick follow up, then I would ask for you in the process of doing some of the computational work. My experience from listening to people talk about their work is that I think Damon Runyon scientists, and I don't know if this is just because you folks get trained this way, are among the best at explaining their research to lay people who don't actually know what that's about. And I don't know if that's a Damon Runyon thing, that Damon Runyon is specifically trying to connect people just like they take big swings with researchers from outside, theoretically, the typical fields. Sometimes they also are taking swings at donors outside the regular fields. But have you felt like there's an emphasis with you on trying to figure out how to explain very complex research in a way that is accessible to people? Or how do you do that, I guess, would be my question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we try to apply this fellowship, we ask to write a paragraph like just as a lay abstract how to explain our research
Yeah.
in a to lay person. So but definitely I think I guess all of us are do receive some training during graduate school to do such job. Yeah.
to be able to be a part of that. Oh, and I can't, and I was literally just interrupted listening to that answer. Hillness has donated. Oh, okay. So first of all, Hillness has donated $111.11. Thank you, Hillness. Hillness is also our top donor, having donated so far $611 to this cause this year. Thank you, Hillness. And also, Hillness has started, I will let everyone in on this for those of you not familiar with ArvCon lore. This is typically the day where the battle between order agents, those who want the donation number to be even, and chaos agents, those who want the donation order to be odd, begin to get in a battle with each other. I don't care what raises money, whatever competition people want to engage in, that's fine. So right now, I just want the order people to know chaos has taken the lead, okay? Right now, this is not even, and so you must restore order by all means necessary. Seriously, thank you, Hilna, so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that training I think is really interesting, but I had the honor of getting to go to a reception a couple of months ago in New York City for Damon Runyon supporters, and I was just again struck listening to the scientists about how good they are relative to certain other folks I've met in my field at being able to explain what they do to people who are smart people but don't have training in that. So anyway, I'd like to think that's partially what Damon Runyon encourages too, is that connection with others. So but thank you. I'm very excited to hear more about this as we go through. Last but not least, I want to introduce Dr. Vivian Chu, who is with us from, I'm happy to say, is local in Connecticut this time. I get someone else from Connecticut. I'm not just all by myself. Well, we have two people today from New England, but usually I'm holding down the New England fort by myself. But Dr. Vivian Chu is with us. Thank you for the raid, Shatter Mage. Thank you. I appreciate it, Shatter. Welcome. But welcome, Vivian, here. And I guess I would ask the same question, just if you can talk a little bit briefly about your research and maybe the connection with Damon Runyon also.
Thank you so much, Greg, and thank you for everyone being here. I'm so excited. I study sickness behavior. I'm obsessed with behavior because I think that's really a way that we express ourselves consciously or without conscious. And sickness behavior is really how you feel when you are sick. And then that has been associated with not just cancer, and then even for cancer specifically, even after the therapy, many people can fall into chronic fatigue or chronic depression, and how does that connected to the brain? That's something I wanted to understand. And I really want to echo what Liu Yu and Leslie say earlier about Damon Ryan. I think it really, getting this fellowship is really give me a courage to do something that I never thought I would be able to do. And one of the reasons, similar to Leslie, I switched the field when I started my postdoc, and I proposed to Damon Ryan, and because they are a very selective fellowship. And then when you get it, it's almost, they are saying to you that I like your idea. It's crazy, but we think it's doable. So I think that's one of the validation that's extremely important when I just started my new research. And then I'm immensely grateful for the opportunity, and also like meeting other like incredible fellows that really helped me throughout this research journey.
That's really great, and I like the idea of being obsessed with sickness behavior. That's interesting. I want to ask something about a follow up for that, and then I have another question for all of you folks, which is so because if I think about what sickness behavior imagines, it's something that all of us, I think, again, not scientists, would be able to identify as this is how so and so does something when they feel ill or sick or something else. I'm wondering about applying, because that to me seems immediately like, oh, that would be something really fascinating to study. But again, it seems like one of those things that a lot of organizations, groups would go, well, that's nice, but it's too fuzzy, right? Like it's too sort of, it's not, how do you apply scientific rigor to that? So I guess that's my question is, how did you think to establish scientific rigor to convince people that something which feels fuzzy isn't fuzzy, if that makes sense as a question?
I love your question, first of all. And then I think I love it because two of the keywords that you bring up, one is the fuzziness about how we define sickness behavior. And second of all, is it's so general that everybody can recognize it. And the reason I'm obsessed with this behavior was exactly the reason. They are so common. We almost use them as a language or communication that we didn't realize, for example, during the pandemic, we can spot someone far away in the same train and they are coughing, and then you may be aware of something going wrong with the person. And I think a good thing to think about sickness behaviors is one way it tells us that something is going wrong inside of us, and then we want to be prepared for it. And the second thing is, if sickness behavior didn't turn on properly, there might be something going on in our body, and then we just let that danger slip away in the background until later on that we just found things that we cannot, like we have passed the point of return. So I think the importance is to know how the brain interpret your body status, and then can we actually control through a stimulation of your nervous system, and then sort of guide your immune response that way. So there are many evidence have suggest that, especially for tumor, that inside of your brain, the activity of your brain actually interfere with the tumor development. And how does that happen has been a very growing sort of field now in the cancer biology. And peripherally, we can actually activate our, for example, sympathetic nervous innervation in the tumor to sort of guide the tumor to become hot or cold, meaning that they can become more curable or more treatable, or we can shift their behavior inside of you just by activating your nervous system. So that's one way how I like to think about the connection between sickness behavior and cancer.
That's wild. I continue to be amazed all the time when I do these conversations with the vision every scientist has about the study that they do. And it makes so much sense to have a vision that other people have to be able to hold on to. Yeah, that's really, really neat. Well, all right, let me ask then for everybody. I want to ask a little bit of a jump up to 10,000 foot view, because one of the things I have heard from scientists everywhere, but from Damon Runyon folks, is that without getting too into the weeds politically here, given the current climate for science funding and frankly, education funding in general, and academic funding in general, that one of the things that is important here is morale, like keeping the sense that scientists feel like they're not just sort of, scrabbling up a hill that gets ever steeper as they go because of the scenario of what's there. And I guess I want to ask sort of a little bit of a human question, which is about, how is your morale? How do you keep yourself up with your own research and collectively moving forward on these things that are really important? How are you all feeling these days about how to do that? Where do you turn to get a boost in your, morale about your own work and about the state of scientific work in the world? And Vivian, I'm going to work up the other way up the column. So I'll start with you this time, Vivian.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. That is such a good thinking, inspiring question. Two ways to think about this. One, last year, to be honest, I have identity crisis. I was like, I'm a scientist, but how am I going to tell people why to be a scientist in the future? What's important about scientists? I think Damon Ryan Foundation really back us up on this. We have ideas that we really want to produce knowledge at the front end, and this knowledge may not be seems to applicable at the beginning, but it will turn out to be valuable later on. For example, the GLP-1, we know that GLP-1 now has been used widely to reduce weight, and then as a healthy way of changing your lifestyle. But we don't know the background of how GLP-1 can work, and that can bring on side effects that we don't want. And doing research is really trying to help you bring that back, bring the benefits, just the benefit, but not the side effect that you don't want to. Right. So the way I think about doing science, it's really like buying a hope in the future, or buying an insurance for a future that will allow you to do things that you may not be able to do, or you didn't expect now, but maybe need that in the future.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Vivian. Ryu, can I ask you the same question about how's your morale these days? How do you keep things going? Are there places, where do you search for hope scientifically or personally with these things?
Yeah, sure. I think I'll start with maybe like what Damon Runyon's one of their mission is to fund bold and brave. I think yeah, we're all kind of like bold and brave
Yeah.
scientists, and I
You got
personally, I
my
feel,
vote. You got my vote, not all of you.
personally, I feel everything is still doing good for me. I think doing research as a scientist is a privilege. Um, and it just we're just try to met our own curiosity to answer these questions, and we're paid to met our own curiosity. So that's such a amazing job. And yeah, no matter how the climate change, I think we all continue to be bold and brave. Yeah.
Yeah, and bold and brave are very good
Yeah.
terms that Damon
Yeah.
Runyon's always used. Leslie, may I ask that to you? How do you continue with your sense of morale and feelings about the world and scientifically through these days?
Yeah, I think I get a lot from mentoring and teaching and just like getting to engage with future generations of scientists and all the way down to, little kids. I just last weekend spent time with like my 4-year-old niece and um, being in that era of whys and seeing that like people are inherently inquisitive and they're always going to want to learn and understand how things work, even if there's all this big gray cloud over our heads at the moment. Like that's human nature, is to learn and understand things. And I have, I believe that interest and inherent curiosity is going to prevail. And yeah, I just draw a lot of inspiration from being able to like mentor the bright minds in my lab and outside of my lab. And yeah, I would say that's where I get a lot of the inspiration and kind of like positive outlook on research.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I love the idea of curiosity married with compassion, which in a way is what all of us try to get something out of. Also, co-sign on teaching, which I've been doing for many, many years. Working with young people is hugely important. I always have a lot more optimism for the future. The question is if my generation and older ones can get the baton to the younger ones, but that's another problem for another day. All right, well, let's ask what may be the most important question that you'll answer here before we wrap up, and that is games. Let's talk about games. I'll start with you, Leslie. Like I'd love to hear. Have you played tabletop games before? What is your relationship with games? What did Megan have to bribe you to do? I'm just kidding. How exactly would you say your connection with games is? How are you feeling about Monday's game too?
I am terrified, to put it simply. Like role-playing games are totally outside of my comfort zone, and I guess just inspired in being an out of my comfort zone kind of person. And I felt like there was just no way I could say no to Megan. Like when she asked, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
This is like, I have a really good friend, Dallas, who's like obsessed with like role-playing games, and Kim as well, who made the donation, is also a Twitch streamer. So I first told them when I got the invite, and then I knew they wouldn't let me say no because they were going to be excited to watch me have that experience. And so I'm terrified for Monday. I'm more of a like I love Wingspan, Everdell, kind of deck building, those kind of games. I would say that's very much my jam. But yeah, Monday is super out of my comfort zone, but I will give it my best.
Thank you for being out of your comfort zone. As I said, Brandon O'Brien is going to be your GM. Brandon is very good people, and you are in excellent hands, and you will also do really well. In fact, a lot of times people that have zero, sort of experience with the TTRPG thing often find that they are, I think especially Damon Runyon scientists are good at this, no joke, because I think the same kind of curiosity and thinking outside the box works very well for something like tabletop too. So, but thank you for going outside your comfort zone. All right, Ryu, this is where you have to say like, well, I, with my extensive knowledge of all tabletop games, no, what would you say your connection to games in general are? How are you feeling about Monday?
Yeah, I love games, so I haven't played any TTRPG, but I'm a huge fan of Catan.
Okay, yep.
So we actually I've just played Catan last night with my friend. It was a 4-hour game.
Did you win?
Oh my goodness.
Did you win? You didn't win? Okay. I am terrible at Catan. I get constantly, people are just like, how about this? I'm like, that sounds good. And they're like, that was a dumb trade. I'm like, oh God, why?
Yeah, but very looking forward to first TTRPG. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm super excited. We have some first timers doing this. That's really great. Also, we just got another donation again from Lil Bazian, who says, hoping Leslie is a defender or striker. So that isn't, listen, I mean, that's what I like to hear. So we're up to 1172.11. I told you it's very hard to take when the scientists get on a roll, man, when it comes to gaining money, to raising money, it's hard to stop. Very cool, Rio. I'm looking forward to seeing how you folks do things on Monday too. Last, Vivian, now are you going to tell me that you have extensive tabletop experience or no? Like, tell me what your feeling is about games and how you're feeling for Monday, please.
Same as Liu Yu and Leslie, I have zero
great.
experience. And when I saw Megan's email, I just say that if there's one adventure I'm going to do this year, this will be it. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I just want to give me something, surprise me.
Oh, you'll get it from Brandon. Yes, 100%.
Right.
That's so cool. So we've got 3 first-timers. Chat, I better see people like pouring in to see this happen because we need the support from these folks. That's really, really cool. I'm excited for it. And again, one of the things I love about tabletop gaming myself is that it does stretch boundaries and, move people outside their comfort zones. But I will warn you all that it's a little bit addicting in the sense that if you get a good experience out of it, and I hope you all do, I'm sure you will, you may end up being like, where do I find more about this role-playing thing? So, and then you get the one of us chant, it could happen. It could happen. But I am so honored and grateful to have you folks with us for this and on Monday. And I wish that I had time to get bunches of questions from chat, but we have 12 hours of content to get through, so I don't. So I'm just going to quickly ask for just a last word from all 3 of you, and then I'll let you folks go, and we'll see you back here on Monday afternoon. So again, I'll work back up the channel. So Vivian, any last words about research, commentary, anything about this event that you've got, if anything?
I just wanted to be bored and then wanted to make contribution, make impact, and as a scientist, that just makes the world much better.
Amen to that. Couldn't say it better. Ryu, last thoughts from you.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for supporting our research. It's really, really important to have everyone's support for us to chase our curiosity, to really answer the most important question in cancer biology to help millions and millions of people. Yeah. Thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you, Rio, so much. And Leslie, last to you.
Yeah, again, thank you. Having this support is huge, especially in these times of scientific funding. And I love my job and I love my research, and I just feel so lucky every day to be supported, to be able to go in and do that and hopefully have a meaningful impact.
Very, very cool. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing scientists from Damon Runyon? I can't wait to see these folks again on Monday. Thank you again to Dr. Leslie Day, to Dr. Rio Wong, to Dr. Vivian Chu. Thank you all 3, and I'll see you folks on Monday for some awesome tabletop play. Bye for now. Thanks, everybody. Yay! Oh, man. I am, it is such an honor, no lie. It is such an honor always to be able to have these folks on board. Thanks for everyone who jumped on board to donate. And look, I didn't even, we got a little bit, almost $200 just during that, 25-minute conversation. So that is great. And thank you again so much to these scientists. Now I'm going to try to be good about this, and it would be great if people could help me out on this. I'm going to try to be good about this, about stopping and starting recordings, so I don't have one massive recording to do tonight when I upload. So I'm going to stop recording now. Thanks to everyone who came for the interview.